The Paranormal Chick here. Thank you for joining me for episode 8 of my podcast. Today we are going to catch up on everything that's transpired over the weekend, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Book of Enoch. I've started researching it, and oh my god, I'm kind of blown away, honestly. But first, updates. So there's been some new updates for the woman on the plane at the DFW airport. The one I'm talking about, the one that had a meltdown, said she saw somebody who wasn't real. It blew up on social media. It blew up in the news. It created its own life, a life of its own. So supposedly, the family came forward on a specific content creator's profile on TikTok by the name of Sheila Rose, and they basically told her to stop slandering, stop the lies, stop the misinformation, that this woman, who I have found out her name may be Tiffany from the Dallas area, has basically secluded herself in her home. When everything dies down, she will make a public appearance to explain her side of the story. They went on to further state that she is not on drugs, she doesn't drink, so all those rumors can be dispelled. But one of the biggest rumors, and this is where the slandering and where they're threatening a lawsuit, is that, supposedly, by the way, from the family, is the whole racism aspect. So I do want to talk about that a little bit, and I also posted a video about this, is because we are in a cancel culture. We are in the moment that you're labeled a racist, it's like ruining your whole life. You could lose your job, you could lose any deals. You're basically disavowed. Nobody wants to be seen with you or, anything. So to call somebody a racist and say that it's because she was, being racist against a black man, it's heavy duty. We are in that culture to where you cannot be labeled certain things because it'll destroy you. So I totally understand that aspect. We truly don't know what happened. We haven't heard her side of the story. Everything right now is hearsay, literally. We don't have the facts. So more to come on that, hopefully soon when she's ready, when all this emotion dies down, she'll be ready to come forward and talk about her side of the story. So enough of that. The Book of Enoch. Oh my God. When I say I have been reading this all weekend, my mind has been blown. I can honestly see why ancient aliens pulled all their theories from that book. I honestly see where the Greeks got a lot of their stories about their gods. It's from that book. And I totally 100% see why the church refuses to acknowledge the Book of Enoch. So right off the bat, and I'm not even halfway through this thing, I still have so much more to go. I want to do a whole podcast about the Book of Enoch. But right off from the beginning, it instantly starts talking about the Watchers. And if you guys don't know, some of you probably already do know, but if you don't know, the Watchers are considered the angels that were sent down from heaven to watch over men. They're not technically the fallen yet. They were actually sent down to earth to watch over men. They weren't supposed to interact with men. They were just supposed to watch and make sure that men stay on the correct path. As the story goes, they started falling in love with the women of men, and they wanted to experience life as a human being. Side note, I've heard of this before. I've heard the theory that aliens, other beings, part of the reason why they're fascinated with humans is because of our variety of emotion, of feeling, of love, of experiencing life. Like as a human being, we experience life to the fullest. We have a whole array of emotions, and we can love, hate, cry. We feel pain. We're not just like androids, right? We're not just machines that just day by day, same thing over and over and over again. We have this whole arsenal of emotion and love. And I've heard, and there's that theory that that's why aliens are so obsessed with us, is because they don't have that. They don't have the same abilities that we do. They, majority of them are telepathic, from if the theories and the assumptions are correct, as to where We are not in tune that far, but we're still more physical creatures, and they're not. So back to the book of Enoch, these watchers, and it's a group of them. I have all their names, but it's I believe it's like 19 or 20 that are the chieftains of the angels. Anywho, it's a total of 200 angels that eventually fell, and that began the war in heaven, the first war. Well, these guys were sent down to watch men, ended up falling in love with women and interbreeding. Now get this. It starts referencing giants. This is where we get the giants reference for the first time. So when they interbreeded with women, they beget giants. Now it continues to go on to why, and this is before the great deluge, the great flood, the flood of Noah. They beget giants. Once giants went through and ate everything in the world and they couldn't be sustained anymore, then that's when they turned on men and started eating mankind. Now, pulling outside of that, folklore, Norwegian folklore, Norway, they still have, and actually a movie came out called Trolls, I believe, on Netflix regarding giants and their folklore that they have around it, and that was that these things eat the blood of Christians, but they eat men. Well, here we have the book of Enoch now referencing giants and that they do eat mankind. See what I'm getting at? Folklore is tying into, if the word is true and it's accurate, actual truth. So were there giants? I mean, we have skeletons, even though that they're told that they're not real or they're mysteriously disappear. But skeletons have been found all over the world, and not just one part of the world, but all over the world of giants. So are the stories true? And is this proof? And is this kind of part of the reason, no, I'm not going to say all the reason, but part of the reason that the church refuses to acknowledge the book of Enoch? Just so many questions, and I'm so fascinated with it, but I love that how you can tie it back to folklore, you can tie it back to the old stories. That's what fascinates me even more, because that's the true evidence, right? That's what we all need. But again, you can just say it's not real because it's the book of Enoch. It's not acknowledged by, the church or the powers that be. Well, it continues. So angels interbreed with humans. They overrun the earth. They basically set themselves up as gods. Men started learning too much, too fast, too soon. And then God said that the earth was corrupted. He basically had to restart everything. The great deluge happened. He had to wipe the earth clean, start over with Noah and his seed and his generations, and they were going to repopulate the earth. We all heard that story. Well, the women who interbreeded with angels. This is the first reference to a siren. So the angels had to pay consequences, right? They had retribution themselves. So when God did the deluge, Enoch was taken up into the heavens, and he was told what the consequences that those angels had to fall, the watchers, what befell them. He had to ascribe it, and he was brought back down to tell them, okay, well, this is what you're gonna face. This is gonna be your retribution. So basically, all those angels were chained and thrown into a pit, and that's where they're going to be chained and for all of eternity until Judgment Day. Tartarus, right? If we think of the Titans, but supposedly the Titans were overrun by the gods, the Greek gods, Zeus, Poseidon, Hades. They all ganged up on their parents and threw them into Tartarus. Well, now we have the book of Enoch saying that God said, okay, for what you guys did for corrupting man, bringing evil into the world, creating giants, creating the evil spirits, you are now going to be thrown into this pit until Judgment Day. And to me, it sounds like the Titans. It really does. The number's off, because there's a lot more watchers than what's in the Greek gods and the Titans. I believe there's about 19 that we're talking about. I'll have to look at my notes. But Interesting. Well, so that was their retribution. That's what they ended up having to pay. That was their consequence. Well, the women who bed with the angels, God said that he cursed them to be sirens. That's their penance. That's what they had to pay for bedding with angels and begetting these giants that destroy the earth, basically. Sirens. And it's literally the word siren. So I'm reading the original book of Enoch. So it has all the, the old school language, the old school words, and it's hard to decipher it. So I'm having to Google a lot of them, but it literally has siren, S-I-R-E-N. That blew my mind. So here we go. We have the first reference to a siren. And if this is to be true, this is the beginning of time. This is, before Christ. This is during the Great Deluge, when he had to destroy the earth the first time. So do we have mermaids? Because that's what we call them now. And if it's in the Bible, then we must, right? So these sightings that we see out here, would they be real? The fisherman. So I had interviewed the fisherman. His handle is Sauce90. Guys, I have to tell you about this guy. Like, when the government gets involved, that's when it's real. When he is in this mysterious car accident and almost dies after meeting with the government, it's real. So I'm going to back up and I'm going to tell you a little bit about his story. You could also see the interview that I did with him. It is on my YouTube, the full interview there. It's over a little bit or almost an hour long. It is freaking phenomenal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, is he became famous, literally, because he's a deep sea fisherman. He's a commercial fisherman, and he has personal experiences with sirens. They literally follow him. They're unidentified creatures, so if you don't believe in the whole siren mythology, that's okay. It's an unidentified creature, but they follow him. You hear them singing, you hear them following the boat, or you see them following the boat, which I posted those videos as well, and you can see it on my TikTok, of two of them following him on the side. But his experiences go back longer than that, to where I almost think that it's like a genetic or an ancestry thing. I'm almost wondering if he has some sort of connection to them, because the moment he goes out onto the water, they follow his boat. There's one incident where he was on live, just chatting with everybody, and he picks up a dead crab from the bottom from the ground in front of him on his boat, chucks it into the ocean, and as he's walking, something chucks it back to him. I was so blown away. But the videos that he's captured. So the one that is literally on my TikTok, it has over 13 million views. People are saying they're outriggers that are dragging in the ocean, but I've asked him about it, and he was like, no, those weren't the outriggers. You could actually see where the outriggers were. But there was two creatures following him and going super fast. They were not dolphins. They were not orcas. And you see them, and at the end, it's so creepy, because at the end, you hear like a disembodied voice say, "Jump for me." And what's crazier than that? So all of that happens. Then he records what looks to be like a mermaid in the ocean. It's hard to see because it's in murky water, but you clearly see arms in the body of a mermaid. Again, that's on my TikTok. But you see it. Now, guys, it gets deeper than that. His videos go viral. Everybody's looking at him from YouTube to TikTok. Everybody's talking about it, right? The government gets involved. The government boards his boat with scientists, and guess what they bring on? Supposedly, it was just to, it was their checks that they were pulled up, and they had to go through their checks and whatnot. But they bring on a bed. So the government agents and the scientists that they brought with them, they brought a whole lab set up, including a bed for commercial fishermen. That's supposed to be a standard procedure. BS. That's bullshit. Well, they were going to be on the boat for 3 weeks. That day before he was supposed to head out, he goes home, and somebody in a car, he said it was a dark sedan, follows him, runs him off the road. He basically lands in like a tree, almost into somebody's house. He almost dies, and it was a hit and run, and I'm doing my fingers. He almost dies. So he ends up not going on the boat with the government there. But it's crazy. And then his initial TikTok was banned. They blacklisted it. Like, it was just insane. And he goes on to talk about how he knows he was followed. He could see the guys, he could see the cars. Like, it was a crazy time for him, and it actually scared him. But he's not going to stop posting. And as a matter of fact, he's going out this month, and of course their fleet got selected for another research, government review, or whatever. I don't know what they call them, but when they have to board the boat and make sure that they're in compliance, well, they're selected again. So he's going out soon, and with government agents on the boat. It is so fascinating. It's crazy. If you haven't seen it, go to my TikTok and just take a look for yourself and see, and you decide what he's dealing with. Is he being followed by sirens? Is he, making this up? Is it fake? That's for you guys to decide, but I can tell you it is freaking fascinating. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there just because it fascinates me so much. And then the reference in the book of Enoch to the first siren, it makes sense. When you research and you pull up the old works and the old writings, that's why people always come out with, we're not being told the truth. Well, if you research yourself, you'll find the truth. You don't need to have the government or your schools or anybody to tell you the truth. Go out there and find it for yourself. You'll see it. I recently posted today, as a matter of fact, an old world map that was made in 1565, and Antarctica is not covered in ice. And actually, it shows different land masses. It shows animals. It shows dragons and unicorns. In 1565, made by an Italian artist. I keep looking at that map, and guess where I pulled it from? I pulled it from the U.S. Congress Library.gov. I didn't pull it just from somebody. No, guys, the answers are there. We just have to research and find them. Very interesting. I posted that video today as well, so take a look at it. What else? Like I said, I went off on a tangent because I'm so excited about the book of Enoch. I'm just blown away with everything that is in that book. And I can see why the church basically said it's hearsay. It's heresy, not hearsay. It's heresy that they won't even acknowledge those scrolls that were found in the cave and what we know now as the book of Enoch. And I'm not even halfway through it. So I know there's so much more, and I'm so excited about it. And I can see why the ancient aliens said that basically Enoch was, when he was taken up to God in a chariot of ice and of crystals, why they think it's a ship, because as he's explaining it is a ship. I'm really going to have to just break it down and read the passages to you. And he doesn't have the understanding that we have now. So he words it like what he sees. He sees, a throne of fire. He sees a room of crystals, and just, it's pretty crazy. You can actually buy the book on Amazon or Kindle as well, and you can read it for yourself. It is the old world language, so a lot of the language it's kind of hard to decipher, but once you got it, you got it. What else is going on? The alien sightings and UFO sightings still going strong. I actually posted a couple of videos too that I thought were quite interesting. Planet X, if you guys are into that whole phenomenon. This witness that came forward and showed me her video from 4th of July that she captured. It is one of the best that I saw of a double sun. And I can't make heads or tails of it. I don't know if I fully buy into the whole ancient aliens theory regarding it, which is that the planet X that orbits our Earth every 3,600 years and comes into orbit. But then there's proof in the pudding. And you know what's crazy is that this planet, Planet X, Planet Nibiru, is in hieroglyphs. And not just Egyptian, but we're talking about Mayans. We're talking about South American native cultures. They talk about this X planet that does come around every so few thousand years. In all these videos that I see of it, everybody right away, it's a reflection. But come on, can we keep using the reflection excuse? Can we come up with a different excuse? I don't know, guys. It fascinates me. And just not one word from anybody legitimate, like government or scientists. Like, they won't speak on it. They won't attest to it. Nothing. But we see it. Well, I think I'm going to end it here because I have a lot of heavy duty reading to do. Tomorrow, I will be back with more stories of Bigfoot, everything and anything. And if you guys have suggestions, please let me know. If you have your own stories or experiences, video, written, doesn't matter, send it to me. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to share it. You can remain anonymous. My email is theparanormalchick@gmail.com or theparanormalchick@icloud.com. Be sure to subscribe. Follow me on TikTok, YouTube, podcast, IG, Twitter, and Facebook, all under The Paranormal Chick, CHIC. Thank you guys. Be safe.